Well, sometimes the best way to get to events like the game across the metro is to take an Uber or a Lyft. But those rideshare companies, doubled down this week, saying they're going to leave the entire state of Minnesota if they are told they have to raise driver pay significantly. Don't believe it? Well, they have done it before. Jennifer Hoff spoke to the people of Austin, Texas, about what led up to Uber and Lyft leaving that city in 2016.
At the Minneapolis-St. Paul Airport, rideshare companies are as important as the planes themselves.
We need it, so it's very helpful.
Data shows drivers give more than 1 million rides every month across the Twin Cities. A reliable service, but one that now has an uncertain future.
How often do you catch Uber or Lyft? You want it to be there when you actually need it, like today, when I need it, and here's my Uber.
The two companies are threatening to leave Minnesota in July after the legislature just introduced a minimum wage bill for drivers, trying to compromise after the Minneapolis City Council already approved an ordinance to pay drivers $1.40, 13 cents more than the state's proposal.
It's a needed service. They need to find a balance.
Uber and Lyft maintain both wages will lead to fares too expensive for riders and the business unsustainable, potentially pulling out just like they did in Austin, Texas.
They've got a pretty clear track record of putting their money where their mouth is.
Brian Thornton is a former policy advisor for a council member there who, along with the city, could not come to a compromise with the companies 8 years ago over safety regulations, in particular an ordinance requiring drivers to be fingerprinted.
It's a pretty tough prospect to not have them. And so, as much as state and local regulators are interested in certain outcomes, the fact is when you lose companies like this, it's very devastating.
Thornton said several new rideshare apps followed, but they were unreliable, making it impossible to get rides, leading then to a black market.
We had people taking random rides from Craigslist, or even just people people would pull up to bars and offer rides. It had an unintended consequence that was the exact opposite of what our stated public policy goal was.
It only took 2 days for Uber and Lyft to leave once it was decided, hitting the tech-savvy, nightlife-loving city especially hard, along with others in California and New York, where at one point they had also left.
The usage of these apps is more embedded now in the markets, and so I hope it doesn't go that way for y'all.
An issue with very different opinions, but one that could have similar results.
Be it here, LA, or Alaska, it's the same thing. Catch the bus? No.
In the end, Uber and Lyft eventually returned to Austin a year later, but only after the legislature overturned that controversial fingerprinting ordinance and enacted new regulations for rideshare companies. Only time will tell if a compromise can be reached here. At the Minneapolis-St. Paul Airport, Jennifer Hoff, KARE 11 News.